Hello everyone, I'm Gustaw from Poland, and I've been working as the head of business intelligence in Polish company Enterium. Today we are going to discuss the several practical steps that help improving report design, report transparency, and the end user experience. Hello everyone, I'm Gustaw from Poland, and I've been working as the head of business intelligence in Polish company Enterium. Today we are going to discuss the several practical steps that help improving report design, report transparency, and the end user experience. Instead of describing a few broad aspects of data visualization, in this particular presentation I will focus on very basic but effective techniques that can be relatively quickly and easily implemented in Power BI reports. In addition, during the presentation I would like to share some of my thoughts on report development process. So from one hand, we will go through more technical component of developing BI reports, but on the other hand, we also address general approach and intentions behind each aspect of report design. And that being said, I warmly welcome you again and invite you to watch the presentation. First and foremost, let me give you the high-level view of what will be discussed during the session. When I think about the general report design and report transparency, I try to separate it into at least 4 relevant pillars, including layout design, navigation, DAX formulas, and other BI functionalities. Layout design, amongst many other factors, includes such aspects like choosing suitable report size or resolution, applying additional backgrounds or templates, and shaping report structure by separating different areas like KPI section, main visuals, navigation, filter panes, and the others. Creating user-friendly navigation requires such steps like choosing suitable location for given buttons, rethinking application of the buttons as they may have different goals depending on the context, and applying different visual effects to make navigation looks more interactive and vibrant. Then we have DAX formulas that may help BI developers in achieving more transparent and insightful look of the reports. There are many DAX techniques that can either help us to save great amount of report space or to highlight specific elements of given visuals, or just to introduce some efficient dynamic informations. All these factors add up and can substantially impact the report readability. Last but not least, we have other Power BI functionalities that can bring report design to the next level, and additional custom tooltips might be the great example here. Now we go through each of following pillars with more emphasis on the first, the second, and the third one, with highlighting some specific examples and my personal recommendations. All of that is presented based on chosen self-made BI reports, including latest report made for DNA Enterprise referring to call center analysis, company demo referring to profitability in B2B segment, another 2 reports for Enterprise DNA which are Formula One and emergency services, then personal so-called training or fitness dashboard, and the last one being the e-commerce analysis made as a part of challenges on Onyx platform. We start with the first section, which is the layout design. First important element to consider is the page size or the resolution. The standard default page resolution is set on 1280 by 720, which is 16:9 ratio in terms of width and height of the report. That resolution works perfectly fine in many scenarios, but I personally found it useful to increase resolution to any point ranging from default size of resolution to somewhere around 1900s by 1100s, keeping the ratio at the same level, which is approx 16:9. From my perspective, that end value is optimal when creating reports that meant to be read and analyzed on laptops or monitor screens. The main benefits of higher resolution is increasing amount of space for visuals and additional elements. However, increasing resolution to overly high levels may lead to decreased report readability. That's why I recommend resolution presented in report shown on the right side, while keeping in mind that all font sizes should be adjusted as well. Somewhere around minimum 11 to 12 pixels in terms of font size should be used as values, and 13 plus for headers, KPIs at preference. But I would suggest 25 pixel size or more. Last important consideration is to keep page resolution consistent across each page. If report context does not force some justified variety in terms of page resolutions. Now let's dive into the PBX file, and I will show you how you can easily customize report page resolution. Firstly, we just create a new page. You're going to the visualization pane, choose the format pane, canvas setting, and from a drop-down list, you can change from 16:9 ratio to the custom. And then you can insert whatever resolution you would like to choose. And that's pretty much it. As we have defined page resolution, we can create, design, or pick given backgrounds or templates for our Power BI report. Here are examples of self-made layouts that I've used in a few reports like Formula 1 or e-commerce analysis. The upper two layouts appear to have greater amount of solid space in the main section, whereas the other two presents more fixed structure with greater amount of shapes and sections. How we design and build our layouts may depend on a few things, but the main one is, for instance, report application, meaning if it's built either as a portfolio or demo, or is the report to be used by end users, clients. General rule of thumb is creating more fancy and sometimes more complex reports for personal or commercial usage, like for portfolio or demo. If we build professional, operational, or financial reports in real-life scenarios, I would take more simplistic approach. When designing pre-planned layouts in chosen graphics program where Microsoft PowerPoint is my current personal choice, we can take at least two approaches, which are: the first one, building layout with fixed structure and with all objects and shapes included right away, or the second one, which is my go-to, and it's to build structural layers with simultaneously keeping most of space solid. In that scenario, further structure is built directly in Power BI by adding preferable shapes like rectangles, for example. Doing so, we can easily modify and adjust our structure to visuals we would like to implement in our report. Size of different visuals may vary a lot and be dependent on many things like number of categories we want to display on a given visual. That's why it's great to use flexible approach instead of creating many similar layouts and going back and forth from PBX file to graphic program and adjusting every layout page according to given visuals. Here is another example of how easily you can design preferable structure just by adding different shapes with different colors. In that particular case, several rectangles have been added at the top of pre-planned layout, making sample grid structure for different visuals. Now let's dive into the PBX file and I will show you how you can add additional shapes that makes your report layout ready to fill with visualizations. And now I would like to show you how you can easily create report structure by adding additional shapes. You can go to Insert, Shapes, make a couple of rectangles with darker colors than the actual page layout. We make sure that the borders are off. We can just copy and paste and locate them in different places accordingly to our preference. And now we're ready to implement some particular visualizations. On the other hand, we have a light layout on different page, and we can do the same, but with different formatting specification. In that case, we add some rectangles as well. However, in that particular case with a white fill, with gray borders, And that way, we can easily modify the report structure by adding additional wide shapes, like rectangles, for example. One point that I would like to highlight is to have some general idea of how to structure given report pages. It depends on many factors, like for example the reports type and who will be the end user and many more. My general rule of thumb is to sparing as much central space for KPI section, which I usually set up on the upper central section or left upper section, and for main visuals which drive the most impactful insights. Very top, left and right side are used for titles, navigations, most important slicers, and for example company logo.